Good morning, friends and fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, coming to you with the morning market preparation video for April 3rd, 2018. Well, everyone, I know that there is an awful lot of gloom and doom surrounding this market, and it looks awful. There's no question about it. This looks awful. Lots and lots of technical damage has been done in the chart. And even if you just kind of follow the headlines of the mainstream media out there, you're seeing more and more of those reports coming in of this pending gloom and doom that we're going to completely come off the rails and everything is going to fall apart and the world's coming to an end. And it just kind of feeds on itself. Folks, I can tell you, after trading this market for 28 years, this is a normal process. I know it looks brutal right now. I know it looks like it's impossible that we could recover from this. But trust me, we will. We will recover from this. And as bad as it looks now, and it is bad, as bad as it looks now, better days are ahead. And it seems, remember, there's that old saying that it's always darkest before the dawn. And that's kind of the thing that always hits me in the back of the head when I see this happening, and I start getting that overall sense that everything is bad. It's when everything seems like it just couldn't get worse, it starts getting better. And here we are in this market, and I suggested yesterday in yesterday's video the high probability that, in the days ahead, I didn't know it would happen yesterday, that the diamonds would likely test the 200-day moving average. And that's what we got yesterday. And, at least at this point, we got a bounce right off of that level. And if you notice the price action in the chart, here was that support level that I was marking out, and there's nothing fancy about that. This is just this is just taking an unbiased look at the market and seeing where the possibilities exist and where those support and level places come into play. Nothing fancy about this at all, just looking at the chart and reading what the price action is telling us, and trying to do that without a bias or trying to predict or support or defend my positions. Okay, we tend to, as traders, want to fight for our positions. We will go to battle to prove that we're correct, and I can tell you in my past that's not been successful. So if you just take that unbiased look at the market, you can see these things. You may not want to see them happen, but that doesn't mean that they can't happen or that they should happen. Remember, this has been a tremendously long run up, and we were bound to see some kind of a correction at some point in time, and that's what's going on here now. So is the world coming to an end? No, it's not. As a matter of fact, I would guess at this point, and please understand, this is a guess, not a prediction, not anything, that we are closer to the bottom at this point than we've been in some time. So if we get some reaction from this, don't expect we're just going to bounce and run straight up. This is going to be a process. Normally it's a process to work out any kind of a bottom, and it'll be a painful process. There'll be a lot of back and forth, a lot of emotion that will come into play here. But don't panic. Be patient. Wait for your edge to return, and it will. Trust me, the market wants to go up, and it will return to that here eventually. Let's take a look at the diamonds on a weekly chart. And you can see on a weekly chart, we are very, very close to testing the weekly 50-day moving average. So we're looking at the futures this morning, and the futures are pointing to a higher open, looking to gap up about 100 points in the market. And I know there's going to be a lot of folks chasing into that, thinking almost immediately that, well, this has to be the bottom, that it has to go up here. But that's not true, and we all know that. Everyone thought that yesterday until the selling started, when we gapped up yesterday morning, and then we turned around and started going south. So kind of take a look at this market here, or take a look at this chart, and notice that we could easily test that 50-day or come very, very close to it like we did right here. That, not 50-day, that 50-week moving average. And so we're very close to that place where we could start seeing support. But I want you also to recognize that normally that is a process. If we look in here where we tested, bounced up, consolidated, went back down, tested, and came back up. Here we came close in a test down, consolidated for a long period of time, and then finally broke that process back to the upside. So testing averages like that, testing in this normally is a process. It takes some time to work out, and that's normal. And what's great about this is when this is over, it's going to become a stock picker's paradise, because those of us who have worked very, very hard to maintain our capital not being chopped up in this sell-off are going to be in a position to be able to buy really great stocks at discount prices. That's the great thing about a correction. We finally get those prices at a better place, and we have an opportunity to pick them out if we have been patient enough to wait and not end up being completely beat up and abused, our capital ripped from our accounts, trying to trade or fight this market in here. Now, it's okay if you've been trading, as long as you've been going with the direction of the market, but fighting a market in here, unlikely you're going to win that battle. Okay, so, and if we take a quick look at the SPY testing that 50-day weekly, or that 50 weekly average, the Qs have a little bit further to go to test that, and the IWM came really, really close to giving it a kiss yesterday. So keep that in mind, and notice that it's not odd, it's normal. Okay, so the world is not coming to an end. Things will eventually get better, and it's up to us to be patient and wait for those times to occur, not to allow emotion to dictate our trading, but really good quality patterns with high probability entries. That's what we're looking for, and we have to be patient and wait for them. If we take a look at the SPY here on the daily, you can see the SPY closed below the 200-day moving average. Clearly that is an ugly, ugly chart. But I also want you to notice that it wasn't that hard to, expect this area to be tested when you look at the support that's right through this area. And if this doesn't hold, well, we can see that there's more support areas below that we could potentially test. Let's hope this holds in here. And I suspect it will be a process. It's unlikely that we will just shoot right back up. We'll come up a bit, and we'll bounce around, and we'll consolidate, and then we'll finally start making that recovery occur. So let's keep in mind that all is not lost, that better days are ahead. We just have to wait for them as a trader and not get caught up in the gloom and doom of the media cycle and everything else that's going on in the market. Let's take a look at the VIX. Now, one thing I think is a little bit encouraging, we have retested the lows down around that 200-day moving average. Notice where the VIX was right here, okay, when we were down here before. Now the VIX is showing a lot less volatility, and notice also that it didn't really spike and break out yesterday. That means that we could be reaching that point. That capitulation may have finally occurred here in the market, and now we'll start working to build some sort of a base or place to recover from. Okay, so kind of keep an eye on that. I think better days could be just around the corner, and we'll have to watch that closely. Let's also take a look at T2122 and recognize, remember, T2122 is a very short-term look at the markets. 4-week new high, new low ratio, and you can see we're back down here in this bullish reversal zone where we kind of we got oversold just all at once. Okay, and now we can stay down here for a while, so don't suspect that that means we should just jump in and bail in long. We can stay down here for a period of time, and that can be fairly normal that we bounce around in here for a while before we really start making that move back up. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the economic calendar here. On the economic calendar, we don't have much going on here today. We have motor vehicle sales come out early this morning, and then we have a Fed speaker, and we have a bond auction. The Red Book comes out at 8:55, but that's not a market moving event. So not much going on the earnings calendar, on the economic calendar today. And there's also very little going on the earnings calendar today. Not that many companies reporting, and we're just going to have to, the market will kind of be up to its own devices here. How it's going to react. So keep in mind that we could have a quiet period here, a little bit of resting going on in the market. Expect choppy price action, I think, as we sort this out down here around that 200-day moving average. Let's see if the bulls start picking up and holding. What I'm going to need to see, as always, is I'm going to need to see a technically correct pattern. And it doesn't matter if it's on a daily, an hourly, whatever chart that you guys use. What I mean by a technically correct pattern, we need to rally off that low. We need it to either consolidate and hold support or pull back and then show us a higher low where we actually support that area. So this little rally in here today, or this spike up this morning, may be one of those precursors to that, but there's no sense in us chasing that move when we're still below so many levels of resistance, and we have not proved anything other than we can make a new low in the market. Okay, that's what we've been doing, making new lows. And if we rally up and make that first new high and hold that new high, that's where things start getting better. And we will still have some choppiness to work with because we've got lots of resistance above. Okay, so watch those closely. Everyone, I want to wish you a fantastic day. And if this is the first time you've seen this information, please do me a favor. Click that subscribe button on YouTube and the follow me button on Facebook. Click those thumbs up buttons. And also, please feel free to share this video with anyone that you think might find it helpful. Drop a comment if you feel it's worthy. And everyone, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. Be safe. We'll see you all bright and early tomorrow morning. Take care, everyone.